So, hi everyone, I'm Jocelyn Pantastico from Olivia, and I'm really so happy to be spending this Thursday evening with you. And I'm so thankful to Bixie and the community for allowing me to share about Investing 101. And today we've entitled our talk, Girls Just Want to Have Funds, because investing is such a sort of a scary concept. But it's really not. We want to make it as easy. And today, what we will do is start kind of demystify or make it simple for you. Okay, so just some introductions. Okay, so let me just show. Okay, so I'm a mom. I have a 21-year-old daughter. Who has also been through this investing journey, starting when she was 10. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later. I'm also a startup founder. So I have a startup called Olivia. And what we do is through AI, we automate expense management. So rather than write things down in a notebook or an Excel spreadsheet, all you need to do is use our app to scan receipts or even dictate an expense, and your expenses will be automatically captured, and you can do expense reports in a few seconds. Yeah, so that's my hat as a startup founder. And I'm sure a lot of women here can relate to the fact that us women, we have several hats. We're moms, we're employees, we're leaders. Sometimes I'm also tech support at home. Another part of my life is I'm an author, so you will see, some of you will get copies of the book that me and my co-founder wrote. It's called Money Quest, a New Perspective on Spending, Saving, and Investing. And you'll see this book is built specifically for you young people because it comes with an app. So if you download the Money Quest app as well, you'll be able to scan at the end of each chapter, scan some visuals, and it will bring you, it will allow you to participate in quizzes or consume content. Okay. And the last thing is I'm actually a vegan, fun fact. A few years ago, I decided to become plant-based. So, well, most days, because sometimes I still, eat fish. I cannot resist sashimi on weekends. So I'm mainly plant-based, okay? So that's a little bit about me. Now, I'm not sure whether we can, but I would like to find out a little bit more about you guys. So maybe if in the chat box on Zoom or in the comment section on Facebook, can you just write down where you're dialing in from? Which part of the Philippines, or if you're outside of the Philippines, which city you're in. Okay, maybe Napapa can help, and Rosalia can also help let us know where you guys are coming from. So we have one chat here. Okay, right. So yeah, please don't be shy, because today is actually will be, yes, I agree, Rosalia, don't be shy. We have lots in store for you, and it won't be just me talking. In fact, a little bit later, you'll be sharing as well. Don't be scared, don't be shy. Okay, Erlin Opilan says, working in Warsaw as systems analyst. Wow, hi, Erin, so happy that you're able to that you're able to join us today. Yes, Olivia using AI. Okay. Sarah, okay, from Thailand. Okay, great. Wow. Any others? Poland. Wow. Okay, what time is it there now? It must be Shane from Batangas, right? Licensed chemical engineer and a part-time lead ambassador for Kudos. A startup music platform. I love music. I play keyboards. So Kudos, I will check out Kudos. Wow, it's 11 a.m. in Warsaw. Okay, great. And I wonder what the temperature is there like now. Must be, I hope it's not sub-zero. Okay, great, great. Thank you. Thank you for telling me about where you are and what you guys do. It's such a really nice community that we have here. Great. So before we start, okay, I'm just going to just a few, okay. Irving is saying it's currently 6 degrees. My gosh, snow is melting. Okay, so hopefully stay warm, please. Stay warm. Okay. So just some housekeeping, and just to give you an idea of what's going to happen over the next 45 minutes to an hour. So today will be about why it's a basic investing 101, and we'll start with why women need to be investing, okay? And then we'll answer some commonly held questions or commonly asked questions like, do I need to be able to read an analyst report to start investing? When do I buy? When do I sell? Do I need to time the market? Do I need to diversify? But most importantly, at the end, before the end of the session, we will have a workshop. Okay, so throughout the talk, we're going to have 2 games. It's more like a short quiz, and we will have 4 winners. So for each question, for each game, we will have 2 winners, one from Zoom and one from Facebook. And the winner is the first person who answered correctly in the chat box or in the comments section on Facebook. And then the 4 other books we will give to those who share their workshop output. Don't worry about that. And because we will tell you, I'll walk you through exactly how the workshop will work. And essentially the workshop is coming up with your very own, the beginnings or the start of a stock portfolio. And the first thing you do when you build a stock portfolio is it's building a watch list, okay? And I'll tell you more about what a watch list is later. Okay, great. So we have Claudette from Valenzuela. Wow, okay, full-time teacher and freelance. Love it. Freelance illustrator and graphic designer. Hi, Claudette. And we also have Lauren joining us from Manila. Hi, Lauren. Great. So, so for the workshop, I should warn you now that you will need to prepare a pen and a paper, or a pencil and a paper. Doesn't matter. You don't need a very big piece of paper, just one sheet of paper, lined, not lined. It doesn't really matter. Pen, pencil. Let's not use Excel spreadsheets today. So please, we deliberately want you to be low tech today. So just plain paper and pencil, and you'll see why. Okay, and for the workshop, towards the end, you will be creating your stock watch list. Okay, it sounds like a big word, but really it's all about the list of stocks that you might be interested in, that you might invest in at some point. Okay, great. So if there are no questions for the moment, I will start. Let's start. Okay. So the first question is probably in your mind when you even saw when you saw the title, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. So why do women even need to invest? You know, why can't we just save our money in a bank or in cash at home? Yeah, and those are really fair. That's a very fair question. Yeah, not only for women, but for people in general. And the first thing that, okay, before I answer that question directly, here comes our first game or first quiz. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you a question. Okay, I'm going to read it out to you, and the first person who answers it correctly, again, we'll be taking one correct answer from Zoom and one correct answer from Facebook. Those will be the winners. So get ready with your fingers on the keyboard. Someone was saying, life regret not investing in Tesla last Christmas. Right. But you know, it's never too late to invest. A few months ago, there was this stock that I really wanted to buy, but it's already in the $1,000 range. So I said, oh, maybe I just buy one share. And indeed, I just bought 1 or 2 shares, and now it's the value has gone up to about $1,500. So it's never too late. Yeah. Okay, it's all relative. Okay, so why do women need to invest? Okay, so the first game, here's the question. Okay, get ready with your fingers on the keyboard. Okay, So you've been offered two jobs, job A with a 15% increase in salary, and you live in city A where there is no inflation. And there's a second job, job B, with 20% increase in salary, and you live in city B where inflation is 10% a year, everything else being equal. Which one do you choose? Okay, we already have Ariane Arenas from, I guess this is from Zoom, who said job number one. Okay, actually number one or job A is the correct answer. Okay, right, Monica is also correct. And from Facebook, I don't know what the answers are, but the correct answer is job A. So the first person who answered correctly is Ariane. And I guess Ariane would have figured out, and Monica also have figured out, that although job B has a higher salary increase, 20%, but the inflation in city B is 10% a year, which means that, and job A that has only 15% increase, but there's no inflation. So your net increase is 15% in job A, where in job B, your net increase is only 10%. So that is what inflation does to you. Okay. So I guess Rosalia will take note of who won the prize for on the Facebook group. So for Zoom, it's Ariane Arenas. Great, great. Okay. So that's the first reason why women and just, okay, yes, congrats, Ariane. Yes, so that's one of the reasons, or a key reason, why women or just anyone should be investing, and that is inflation. And you've probably seen this illustration, something that costs 25 cents in the 1970s, now a couple of years ago, even 2 years ago, would have already cost 6 times more. Okay, it's the same now. The average increase in tuition fee is about 7%. This is figures from the Philippines. And the average salary increase in the Philippines is 5%. So you really cannot rely on your salary increases to fund those increases in price, whether if it's of goods, services, and even tuition fees of your children. Okay, so that's one compelling reason for people, and women especially, to invest. But there's an even bigger reason why women specifically should start investing or think about investing. And that's about career breaks. So what is a career break? So right after graduation, you work, but then after you're married, maybe when you're in your late 20s or 30s, you start having kids, and you may decide to take a break to raise a family. And that's perfectly all right. And you take 5 years until the child starts schooling. And then another career break could be in our 40s or 50s, when our parents start getting older or get ill, and we may decide to take another career break. And even if you don't take a career break, you may decide that at that stage, you don't want to take on additional responsibility or a promotion because you want to spend more time with your family. So in fact, data has shown that 7 in 10 women, so that's about 70% of women in the Philippines, have taken a career break. So what does that mean? It means that women have less years to earn money than their male counterparts, yeah? And the other side of that equation is that women actually live longer. Again, research show that women live 7 years longer than males, right? So what does it mean? It means that women are earning less because we have less years to earn money, but we are living longer. So that means that when we retire, we actually need more funds, not less, okay? So career breaks that's specific to women is one compelling reason why women need to really consider investing. Okay, so what does that actually mean? Okay, so let's, hang on, let me just check if there are some questions so far on the chat box. Claudette is the winner on FB. Okay, great, great, okay. So career breaks and investing. Let's take an example of 2 people. So Bong, who's a guy, and Gina, who's a girl. They are both earning They both earn 20,000 pesos, yeah, and they are saving 15% of their salaries every month, okay? And they're getting a 5% salary increase every year, okay? So the only difference is that Gina is taking 2 career breaks, one at 30 and one at 45, okay? So what does that mean? When they retire at 65, Bong will have 4.2 million pesos, because remember, he's saving 15%. Both of them are saving 15% of their income, and they're putting it in a bank account that's earning 2% a year. So Bong obviously has more money than Gina, because Gina has had to take 2 career breaks. So that means that at retirement, depending on how much they spend, but on average, if they spend around 30,000 pesos, Bong will have 12 years of his retirement taken care of, and Gina will have 8 years of her retirement. So that means that Bong will have money until he is 77, and Gina will have money until she's 73. Okay, so no, that's quite predictable. Now, but what if Gina starts investing? Okay, again, the same thing. She earns 20,000, takes 2 career breaks, but instead of putting her money in a bank account that gives her 2% a year, she invests, and on average, her return is about 7%. And 7% is not crazy high and aggressive investing. 7% is quite the average if you're investing in stocks and shares. Okay. If she does this, okay, Gina will now have 8.6 million by the time she retires. That's more than double what Bong has, who didn't have a career break, and that's about almost 3 times she would have had if she just kept it in a savings account. So now she has 24 years of her retirement funded. Okay, so she will now have funds until she's 89. Remember, Bong only has money until he's 77. Okay, so you can already see what the difference that just where you put the money, investing versus putting it in a bank account, makes in terms of your goals, the main one being retirement. Okay. Now that's Bong and Gina, who started when they're 25. What if there are people like the rest of us, myself included, who didn't start saving or investing until 10 years later? I spent most of my first 8 to 10 years of my working life really not saving much. So that is a reality. So we have Isabel, who started at 35, still earning the same amount of money, taking 2 career breaks, but this time, even if she started late, she invested her money at a 7% on average return. So she ends up at retirement with 5.8 million. Okay, so she is much better off than Bong even, who started at 25 and didn't have any career breaks. And she has about 16 years of her retirement funded. Okay, so the key point, the point that we're trying to make here is that the impact that investing can have on your wealth and your finances is really significant. So if there's only one thing that you get out of this session today, that's the fact that investing is not a luxury. It is a must, simply because inflation happens and we simply cannot keep up with the price increases just from our salary increases alone. Okay, let me check out a chat here. Okay, right. Okay, so yes, and please don't forget to download a Bixie app. I think Rosalia has put the link on the Zoom, and I guess on Facebook it will be in the comments section. I've tried it myself, and it's really good. The goal setting features and the content that comes with quizzes are really nice. So please download the Bixie app. Okay. So now we figured out why, and I hope it's clear to you, why women especially need to be investing, because it balances out the effects of any career breaks that you may need to take in your life. Okay. So now let's deal with some questions that people typically have, and probably you're also in your minds asking these questions, okay? So the first question is, do I need to really know how to read analyst reports before I start investing? Okay, so let me tell you a little story about my daughter. My daughter started investing when she was 10 years old. So while we provided her with some initial funds, she selected the stocks herself. She did not know anything about earnings reports, analyst recommendations, or PE ratios, none of those terminologies. How did she make the decision? She chose companies that she was familiar with, companies whose products she observed a lot of people were using. So she invested first in an airline stock, an airline company, an entertainment company, and a tech company. Okay. A few years after having invested in an airline stock, she noticed that the stock price was going up because people were traveling more for both business as well as pleasure. She then decided to add a share of a hotel chain into her portfolio, okay? A few years later, she noticed that the entertainment company's theme parks were doing well, and they were opening new rides that used the characters from the movies that the entertainment company had. So she bought more shares of that company. In all these investment decisions, she didn't read a single annual report, or nor did she attend an analyst briefing. Okay, she used her observations of the industry to determine whether the industry is sustainable and whether the company is managed soundly. Okay, so the answer is you don't need to know how to read analyst reports. You just need to know how to go shopping, how to compare companies, and do a little bit of research. If you can handle Google, then you're okay, right? Okay, so that's the first question. So that's the first fact. You don't really need to know how to read, complicated charts and analyst reports. Okay. The second thing is the question I always get is, do I need to time the market? Do I need to know when to buy or when to sell? Okay, so what is timing the market? So stock price charts, as you'll see later on, they tend to go up and down. They tend to move up and down depending on the events that affect a company's or a stock's price. For example, a pharmaceutical company, when they launch a new drug, then their share prices go up. When their patents expire, the share prices go down. Decline in air travel, the airline stocks will go down, okay? Now, what these fund managers or investors are doing is they're timing the market. So in other words, they're trying to find a good time to either sell or buy stocks of companies. Okay, so let me give you an example here. So some of you may be aware of this group, BTS, and they're actually a listed company. They're part of a listed company. Hybe, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but this company is actually, the parent company is Big Hit Entertainment that manages BTS. Okay, so if you look at, hang on, let me just check if there are questions on the chat. Okay. Right. So if you're timing the market, you might say as an investor that, okay, December 13th, the stock prices went down. So do I buy here? So I buy there. Now, what happens next day when you discover that the prices went down even further? So then you'll be regretting and saying, oh, I should have bought yesterday instead of today. But the problem was yesterday, you wouldn't know whether the price would go up or down anyway in terms of small movements, right? So timing the market, that's what they're trying to do, okay? So let's bring that example a bit more clearly, okay? So these are share prices, monthly share prices of one of the banks in the Philippines in 2020, yeah, about a year ago. And we have two ladies, one is Anna, one is May. Anna buys 500 per month consistently, no matter what the share price is. And May buys only in March. Okay, because she thought that, okay, that's the lowest point that the bank's shares will go. Okay, so what happens? When, at the end of the year, what are the values of their portfolios? Right? Okay, so the value of their shares of these bank stock for Anna, who bought every month, regardless of what happens, is 6,075, and for May it's 6,264. So the difference between Anna and May, yes, May got a little bit more by 3%, but imagine the emotional roller coaster that May would have gone through, or if you are timing the market, you would have gone through, because you would say, should I have bought? Should I have bought yesterday? Should I have been buying yesterday or not? So Anna's strategy to just keep on buying. Okay, and May's strategy to just buy at a certain point, actually, there is not much difference between timing the market and buying regularly. Okay, so the answer is, you don't really need to time the market. And in fact, they have a saying, it's not about timing the market, but it's about time in the market, in a sense that if you hold that share of the stock of shares of that company long enough, eventually you will make a return. So buy regularly, regardless of short-term ups and downs, especially if trading is not your full-time job. If you're like the rest of us, just buy regularly, okay, regardless of what the market says, regardless of what emotions are. Okay, now the last question we have time to deal with today is, do I need to diversify? Okay, so to illustrate that, I'm going to show you two companies, sorry. The stock price of two companies in 2015. Okay, so Kraft Heinz, they're a food manufacturer. They manufacture cheeses and other beverages, other products. And the stock price in July 2015 was $77.31. And Adobe, which is a tech company, a software company, the price is about $82. Now, the question is this. If you had $2,000 in 2015, would you buy 1,000 of Kraft Heinz and 1,000 of Adobe? Or would you buy 2,000? Would you spend all your 2,000 on Adobe? Okay, so maybe I'll pause here a little bit and you can write down your answers in the chat box or in Zoom. Okay, I'll give you maybe a few seconds. Okay. So there's a question from FB, what stock should I be buying now? Okay, so wait until the end, we'll come up with your watch list, okay? Because what stock should we be buying now should be your decision based on what you're comfortable with, the industry that you know, and the products that you know. Okay, so hang on for a few more minutes, okay? So do we have some answers? Okay, on the chat box. Both 1K each, okay? That's fair enough, okay? Right, okay, I'm not sure if there are other answers, but okay, so this is the actual scenario, okay? So in March 2021, Kraft Heinz actually lost 50% of its value, and Adobe, multiplied by 550%. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that if you bought 1,000 worth of shares each, so in other words, Kraft 1,000 and Adobe 1,000, the value of your $2,000 then would now be about just under $6,000. If you only bought Adobe, okay, the value of your portfolio would now be $11,000. Now, the good news is that even at $5,994, it's still higher than $2,000, right? Because you would never get that from a bank deposit, even a time deposit, yeah? But the bad news is that if you focused on Adobe, then you would have, almost doubled that amount of money, okay? And the reason why is that actually at that time, 2015, Kraft Heinz was going through a merger, and normally mergers do result in increase in value. But in this case, what happened in US and Europe is that the preference for natural foods has increased. So people are using less of packaged food. So they prefer more organic foods. So they're using less packaged foods, and that has hit Kraft Heinz really, really badly. Okay, and even till now, it has not really managed to recover. Okay, so I guess the point of our illustration is that it's not really about, you can diversify to a certain extent, but more importantly, you need to focus on quality. So you need to focus on quality, meaning that you look at companies that have long-term growth potential and that are in industries that actually have long-term growth potential. Okay, so those are the 3 questions. And okay, we have one more game. Okay, so we're giving away another 2 books. Which of the following have risk? Stocks and shares, property, starting a business. You can answer multiple, you can answer A, B, AC, BC, any combination. You could answer A, B, C. Okay, so we'll give you a few minutes to, a few seconds to answer that question. Again, we'll pick one from Zoom and one from FB. Cherry, okay, I actually know Cherry. Hi, Cherry. It's ABC. Yes, correct, Cherry. Yes, you win a copy of the book. Okay, great. And question, okay, Grace, right, C. Okay, the correct answer is actually ABC. Awesome. So we have a question from FB. Do women, are women different from men in terms of investing? Yes, actually, I didn't have time for that, to answer that, to delve into that. But during our workshop, where you will actually have to do some researching, I will actually answer that question. So Rosalia, I will need your help to please remind you, or maybe Napapa, if you can just remind me to answer that question. Are men different from women in terms of investing? The short answer is yes, but there's a longer answer that's actually more interesting. And I'll talk about it during the commercial breaks later, okay? So now it's time to, okay, so from, we have Cherry who wins from Zoom. And do we have a winner for Facebook? Okay, I guess Rosalia will let us know in a while. No winner on FB, okay, right. Okay, so what will happen is, Cherry, you get 2 books instead, right? And you can give one away to someone you think will find the book useful. Okay, Sarah came close, right? Okay, so yeah, we can award it to Sarah. Okay, great. Next thing is that, okay, so now we will go into our workshop proper. Okay. Right, so are you ready, guys, with your pens and papers? Or pencils and papers? Again, no Excel spreadsheets, please. Just pens and papers. All right, so the activity, the workshop, great. Thanks, Allison. The workshop will have 3 steps, okay? So first, you will need to write down the 5 to 8 products that you use. And then, so that's the first step. Just do that first. We'll deal with step 2 and 3 afterwards. But the first thing you need to do, I want you to take your piece of paper and your pen and just write down 5 to 8 products, not companies, products that you use. Okay, so just look around you and try to remember, okay, where did I order from? Where did I eat lunch yesterday? Did I eat at a fast food outlet? Where did I eat? What services do I use? What food do I eat? Okay, so we'll give you I'll give you an example, okay, of the list of my products. Okay, so please, again, we'll have prizes for those who share their watch list. So now we're actually trying to come up with your watch list. And from the lady who asked what stocks we should be buying, okay, we should be doing that during this workshop. Okay, so just to share you my list. Okay, so my products are here and services. So 2 retail, so Pure Gold and Alpha Mart. I watched Netflix. I use Netflix all the time. I wish I could go to IKEA, and I use Dove soap. He said, this is all you need to do. Write down the services, preferably in the Philippines, just so it makes it's more meaningful when you come up with the when you try to look up the stock prices later on. Okay, so just write down your five products. Okay, and I'll answer the question on how men or women are different from women when we talk about the share prices, when you need to search for the share prices. Okay. Right. So are we okay? Have you managed to write down your 5 to 8 products? Okay, awesome. Great, thanks. So if you haven't managed to come up with 5 to 8, if you only can think of 3, that's fine. That's perfectly okay. Because the idea is after this session, you need to be able to, you should be able to continue that work anyway and continue to grow your watch list, okay? Now, the next thing for the workshop is now based on for those 5 to 8 or 3 or 2 products that you use, please find out which company owns or manufactures them. So just go to Google and say, who owns, if you ate at Jollibee, who owns Jollibee? If you like IKEA, who owns IKEA in the Philippines? For Pure Gold, who owns Pure Gold? Okay, so we'll give you a few minutes for that. So this is my list. Okay, my watch list. So for each product, so Pure Gold, the company is called Pure Gold Price Club. So again, just Google this. Alpha Mart is actually owned by SM Investment Corp. IKEA is also, both Alpha Mart and IKEA are both owned by SM, but they are different entities. So that's also what you need to take note of. Yeah. Netflix is owned by Netflix Inc. and Dove is owned by Unilever PLC. Okay, so have you managed to come up with or research the company? Okay, I'll give you a few more seconds. Yeah. So to answer the question, so while you're doing your Googling of who owns the company, I'll answer the question, are men different from women in terms of investing? And the answer is yes. Mainly because men and women worry about different things. There was actually a study about homeless in the US. And it showed that men, they worry about different things. So they're both homeless, but when it comes for men, they're most concerned about the shame of not being able to provide for their families. And the homeless females, they're most worried about where the next meal will come from. Okay, so for men, the concern and the objective is really about increasing the pot. But for women, it's ensuring that the pot is not empty. Okay, and this is why women have budgeting notebooks, and they make a lot of efforts to ensure that everything balances out, so that it doesn't end up zero. So what does it mean for investing? So men will most likely be motivated by higher returns, faster and higher return, so that the pot grows bigger. And most likely then they'll be looking at more riskier investments. Women, on the other hand, we will focus more on more guaranteed returns and preventing losses. So we will be relatively maybe more conservative because we're looking for more guaranteed returns, because we don't want to lose money. So neither approach is wrong. or right or wrong. It's just that that's how we are wired. Yeah. So when your male friends or colleagues are making some certain types of investment decisions, and sometimes they're more aggressive decisions, don't feel that you have to do the same thing, because if you follow an aggressive strategy, but then you yourself are not wired for an aggressive strategy, it will cause you a lot of stress, and you will really regret that. Yeah. Okay, so that's one of the things that one of the ways that women differ from men when it comes to investing. Yeah. So I hope I answered your question, Lauren. Okay. So I hope you had enough time um, to research the company. Now the third task, the third exercise is now, so you have two pieces of information now. You have the product and you have the company that owns that product or service. So now if it's a listed company, we will now try to find out their stock price and stock symbol, right? Because normally if it's IKEA, you don't really say IKEA. If it's SM, it's something else, right? So, and please use the link that we have provided for you. So it's pse.com.ph/market. Okay. And you should be seeing something like this. Okay. So pse.com.ph, and go to the page here, the upper right hand of the website, where you can see stock quote. And you're going to write there, that's where you're going to search for the company. So if you start, okay, here, so if you type To Go or Ayala Corporation, you should be finding that. Okay, you can see the list. Yes. Okay, so now for each of those companies in your watch list, you should have this information. Okay, so for Pure Gold, the company is Pure Gold Price Club. The symbol is P Gold, and the share price as of yesterday, December 15, was 36.75. Okay, and then for Alphamart, the company is SM Investment Corporation. The symbol is SM. The share price is 950. Okay, so do that for all the products and the companies you have in your list. Okay. Right. So here, because I had some foreign products or services, so I took I'm showing you their share prices, but if you can just limit it to the PSE website, that would be good. If you do have foreign companies in your list, what you can do is just Google, okay, stock price of Netflix today, or stock price of Unilever PLC today. Okay, and then you'll get the same information. Okay. You'll also see that the currencies are different because depending on where they're listed. So obviously, Pure Gold is in the Philippines, but Netflix is in the US. Companies like Unilever, they are actually listed in a few countries, but here I chose the PLC entity, and that is, they're based, if I'm not mistaken, in the Netherlands. That's why it's in euros. Okay. So I'll give you time to research the stock price. So even if you haven't completed that list, even if you can just do one or two products or companies, that should be great for today. As you're researching, I'll chat a little bit more. In terms of, again, difference between men and women in investing, because women tend to be more expressive, they're more emotional in a sense. And emotions and investing they're a very dangerous combination. Yeah. So when buying stocks, sometimes when you should buy low and sell high, what happens is that because of our emotions, we tend to sell when the prices are going down, and we tend to buy when they are rising. So it's the exact opposite. So we need to be much more careful when we are investing, careful of our emotions when we are investing. So some of the things that you can do to counter that is that several things. You need to have enough cash or liquidity. Yeah, so that when something happens, like an emergency, you don't have to sell, because normally when you have to sell your investments in a rush, or in a hurry, you tend to sell at the wrong time. The other actually very important thing, managing your emotions and investing, is that invest an amount of money that you won't need in the next 5 to 10 years. And start with a small part of your income. So maybe start with 2% or 5%, so that you don't miss it. So please don't invest 50% of your income, because for sure you'll be stressed out every morning. You'll be waking up and saying, okay, how is my stock portfolio now doing? And how much have I lost? How much have I gained? And it's not worth it. The emotional roller coaster is not worth it. So if you're earning 20,000 a month, start investing with 500 pesos. Or 1,000 pesos. Okay. Right. So hopefully you guys have had time to research the symbol and the share price. Okay. So now we're ready to share. We are looking for volunteers. We're looking for hopefully 4 volunteers. You can just put in the chat box, right in the chat box or in the comment section in Facebook. Say maybe just 2 companies, 2 products. What are the companies and what's the share price? Okay. Come on, ladies, please don't be shy. Or maybe just even 1, because maybe it will take too long to type. Yeah. Any brave souls there who want to share? Okay, we have Ariane. Okay, Jollibee, JFC. 223. Okay, 223. Pure Gold. Okay. Also, Jollibee is Jollibee Foods Corporation. That's the stock code, and then the share price is 223. Pure Gold, P Gold is 3740. Okay. Right. Okay. We're looking for 3 more people. So Ariane Arenas, you win 1 copy of the book. Again, if I'm not mistaken, this is your 2nd copy. But that's good. You can give it as Christmas gifts. Lauren, how much do I need to start investing? That's a really good point, because a lot of people think that they need hundreds and thousands of pesos to start investing. The truth is that you only need, in the Philippines, there are actually investments that you can start at 1,000 pesos. So to open an investment account in, say, a platform like COL Financial, you just need 1,000 pesos, and you can use 1,000 pesos to buy stocks of Philippine based companies already. Okay. Ariane says she can't find Bounty Fresh Food Inc. though. I see. So maybe, is that a listed company? If it is, maybe it's not listed. Okay, but maybe just keep on Googling, find if you can find out the company that actually owns that. Okay. Or maybe they have a parent company. Just much like IKEA here, it's SM Prime Holdings, I think, that owns it. Okay. Right. Apart from Ariane, anyone else on Facebook maybe who's sharing? From Sarah. Okay, we've got Sarah. Bertoli Oil, owned by Unilever. Yes, 42.62 euros. Okay, great. Sarah. Right. Do you recommend, okay, Ariane has a question. Do you recommend COL or First Metro for investing? Really, it's up to you. Depends on what whether you want to buy, actually from both of them, you can buy stocks directly. Just research a little bit on what are the requirements for First Metro and for COL, and see which one is a better fit for you. Both of them are really good companies. Both of them have been in the market for a long time. So I would, all I can say is you can choose from either one. Just maybe look into the requirements for each one, because certain companies sometimes have different requirements. So check out which one is more aligned to the requirements that you have. Okay, so from Sarah, is Sarah the one who looked at, who answered Bertolli Oil, owned by Unilever? Okay, great. So if that's Sarah, then okay, it is Sarah. Sarah wins our second book. Okay, great. All right. Awesome. So I hope that you have enough of an idea, or we've given you, yes, congratulations, everyone. And I hope we've given you enough of an idea to be comfortable about how to begin your investing journey. So I hope that it was clear today that investing is not really, shouldn't be scary, and women should really be investing. You don't need to be able to read analyst reports. You don't need to time the market. Just go for quality. And if there's one thing really that you need to take away from this, is that leaving your money in the bank is simply not an option. The bank cash, or leaving money on the bank deposits is good for certain things like expenses and emergency funds, but it's not for goals like funding your retirement or other long-term goals. Yeah. So so I hope you do start at some point, and hopefully the new year is a good time to start that your journey towards just dipping your toe and just trying out investing. Okay. Also, please don't forget to download the Bixie app. From Play Store and App Store. Again, I said I've actually found it really useful for setting up goals. I've set up a few goals myself already in the app, and a lot of the content and the quizzes are really, really fun to take. Also, don't forget that next Thursday, the 23rd, 6 p.m., same time, there is a wellness talk. Bixie will be hosting another Wellness 101 talk. So today is about financial wellness. Next week will be about mental and emotional wellness. And the talk is going to be given by a lady called Marianne, who's a mental and emotional health specialist. Great. So I hope that you've taken away something from tonight, and I'm really grateful that you've allowed me to to share this evening with you. I can't think of a more meaningful way to spend a Thursday evening, sharing with you women, with the Bixie community, and for those who are aspiring or looking at investing, I hope we've empowered you just a little bit more today. Thank you so much.